The American Psychological Association reports that 40 to 50% of our daily actions are habitual. The great news here is if you want to change something in your life, your financial life, your lifestyle, your relationships, how you feel in your body, what's going on in that brain of yours, the key is in making changes to those habitual daily actions because it occupies half of your day. So even if you're tweaking it by 10%, you're going to see a drastic improvement. I'm going to take you through the 6 stages of change today and show you how you can apply them to key areas of your life so you can actually make lasting change and not just have something be a short-term 3-week deal and then you fall off again, because I know you want off that ride. You've been doing it for a long time. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your relationship, your abundance, and everything in between. This word change gives a lot of people the cringe factor, including myself. And here's why. It implies that where you're at today and who you are today and how you look today and what you know today isn't enough in order for you to get what you want. And if you grew up in a dysfunctional household, have had toxic relationships, or been in toxic work environments, and even just being a product of taking in programming from mass media, from the fashion world, from the celebrity world, they market to you as not being enough, by the way. And if you grew up in the 90s, this was its peak moment of you're not enough because you can't be skinny enough. And if you're not skinny, like life isn't happening for you. Like Kate Moss was the model of choice. And it's like, I laugh because you know your ass is old when fashions and trends start circling around again and you're like, oh, we're having a 90s moment. Like I lived the 90s. I never thought we would have a 90s moment back. Quite frankly, a lot of the fashion is very depressing and it's not flattering unless you're emaciated. Okay. But let's bring in one of my favorite topics. Cue Ozempic, right? Everyone is now going back to this whole, they called it heroin chic, which is terrible. Back in the 90s, it was like, if you're watching on ProjectME with Tiffany on YouTube, you'll see me doing my full imitation, but it's like, oh yeah, I'm not eating much today. You know, I had my cigarette, a line of cocaine, and a glass of champagne. Like that was the supermodel diet. Like that was really a thing. Like people wanted to be that skinny. Now, if you've met me in person, you know that I'm like 5'8". I feel like I was 5'8.5". Apparently, we do shrink, but I'm not like a petite framed person. But man, did I really try. And I grew up with a mom who's anorexic. She purposely stayed about 3 to 5 pounds away from a feeding tube and was heavily celebrated in front of me for being that skinny. Like she wore my clothes at 11 and 12 years old and like made a point of parading around in them and telling everybody as a narcissist would, which you can imagine is very shaming. I'm sharing all of this with you because we have gotten implied messages that you might not even realize until listening to this episode of, oh, I did pick up this based on like the decade I grew up in, you know, the decade I was in middle school and high school in, or a byproduct of where you were living at the time and what was considered cool, what was considered not cool. And it all comes back to I have to change this about myself in order to fit in order to have the prize, in order to have the abundance. And that we are stopping today. Let's take a new look at change. I'm going to take you through the trans theoretical method. And these are the 6 stages of change, and I'm going to show you how to apply those to areas of your life where you really want to see a lasting shift. So maybe let's use that word instead, right? I'm going to shift some things in my life. We're going to just like shift stuff around. Because when you shift stuff around and you shift the energy around and you move some stuff around, you're going to have a different picture, right? So you like, you know how I'm thinking of, this is probably going to not end well with a really shitty analogy. I'm warning you, but I digress. Let's say you pour out a bunch of a puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle out on a table, and you see all the pieces. And a lot of times people who are really into them, like they might not be finding the pieces. They need a new perspective, right? In order to see things they didn't see before, because there's so many little things all over the place. So then you take your hands and you move it all around. And now you're like, oh, I see something I didn't see before. That's really what we're doing. Because, like I said in the opening, right, 40 to 50% of our daily actions are habitual. So even if we do some fine tuning tweaks, you're going to get big results. And I really want to make sure you guys hear this stat. The American Psychological Association said 40% of people who did New Year's goals, like who put out these New Year's goals, New Year's intentions without support, abandon them within the first month. So if you're already there, I timed this episode to help you because you need to shift how you go about setting out to make some of these tweaks and refinements in your life. So you might hear the word change for me. I'm going to do my best to rephrase that word because I can see how that could have such a connotation. Like, oh, there's something else about me that's not okay. There's something else I have to do. And then we can rebel against it. Like, screw that. I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to be this certain type of way, even if it actually is for our greatest good. And this happens a lot with money, right? There are a lot of people who are teaching stuff on debt, even not even like what I do, which I focus on making money, right? Like my whole solution to debt is you make your way out of debt by making more money, right? Because that is a lot faster than trying to do the hijinks of paying off debt and eating top ramen every day. And most people won't stick with it. What I'm sharing with you today is time to help you get out of and shift out of spiral season. And if you didn't listen to last Monday's podcast episode, that is next on your agenda to listen to. And the reason I've coined this spiral season all has to do with these goal setting things, these intentions, all of this dopamine high of, you know, all these things you want to do for the new year. And just like the stats say, most everybody ends up quitting within the first month. And then you go into shame, then you go into guilt, then you go into hopelessness, then you go into defeat, then you go into self-doubt, like because you didn't hold up with it. And so how could I ever have the things I know I need to change these things about myself and do these things in order to have it? And now I'm a piece of shit. And we've got to stop this cycle. That's the most important cycle to start. So all we're doing is shifting. We can't do everything at once. Your entire nervous system will put on the brakes. It will slam on the brakes because we can only handle so much change and disruption at once because our bodies and brains can read that as dangerous, even though it's not, even though it's good for us, but unfamiliar territory, something new, something awkward, something different, something that feels kind of vulnerable, weird, absolutely reads as dangerous. And then all high alert goes on. So please give yourself patience and grace with this. I would rather see you make true shifts that are permanent 4 months from now than have 3 weeks of a fake white knuckle shift that's going to only flip back into your face and then you flip flop all year round. You'll expend so much energy and it's just not worth it. Before I forget, you are able to get my content creation made easy, quick start social media strategy, and printable content planner for multi-passionate entrepreneurs. This is a giveaway I am doing right now. It's for a limited time. I'm showing it over here on YouTube. What you get, this also includes my fill in the blank profitable caption template. This is insane. Like, I'm giving it for free. All you have to do is follow and or subscribe to the show. Leave a 5-star written podcast review on Apple Podcasts. Now, what I've done for this special giveaway, and this is in order to get you to shift into action right now. I'm doing this to jumpstart you. There's no catch to this. You'll see when you do it. It's you're getting an actual course from me. So you need to follow, subscribe to the show, 5-star written review on Apple. Then you need to put your name or TikTok, Instagram handle in the review, take a screenshot of it, and email it to us at support@projectmewithtiffany.com. All the instructions are in the show notes when you swipe up, or the description on YouTube. And I have opened this up to my other listeners. Shout out to you guys who listen on other platforms like Spotify, like YouTube, like Audible, iHeartRadio. You can only write a written review right now on the Apple platform. So what I need you guys to do who aren't on Apple is tap the 5 stars. If they have a 5-star system that you can tap, I need you to post publicly about the show. You can do a video, you can do a post, you have to tag me, take a screenshot of it, and that's what you email to us at support@projectmewithtiffany.com. And then we will email you my full content creation made easy system for free. So this is not going on much longer. Make sure you do it. If you have to pause this and then come back, because you'll forget, and then you'll be mad that you forgot. And once this is done, it's done. We're not going to keep going with it because that wouldn't be fair to the other people that took action right away. And I got to tell you guys, these reviews of the show are bringing me to tears. I'm reading each and every one of them. You guys are getting so creative with the videos you're posting about the show on TikTok and Instagram. And it's so fun to see what this show does for you. And it moves me every single time. Like, I saw a hole in the market. There's so many people who are so basic and boring and full of shit and circle talk you and don't tell you the exact stuff that needs to happen in order for you to get what you want. And someone you know you can relate to. Like, yes, I'm rich as fuck now, but I wasn't always, and I'm nuts. And I know you're nuts. We have a lot of stuff going on. We're messy, but you can be fucking messy and make bank. And if that wasn't the case, believe me, I wouldn't have any money. So I know I went off a little bit there, but you want this thing. I over delivered, and there's not anyone who hasn't gotten this, who paid for it, that wasn't thrilled about what they paid for, and you're getting it for free. So just, okay. All right. So I'm going to take you through the 6 steps of change, which is the trans-theoretical method. So this is not my method, but I am putting my twist on it so that you can apply this to your life. And you know how they say, it's so interesting. And I love when I go, they say, it was like, who's they? But I know you'll get it when I say this. I hear all the time, it's change happens in 30 days, 30 days to change a habit, blah, 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 blah. You want to know the actual stats? Because I'm all about the receipts over here at ProjectME. The actual stats are, it takes someone between 18 and 254 days to make like a true lasting shift. Not where it's just like for one hot minute, a true lasting shift. That's a very wide range. And there's quite a few factors that play in on whether you're someone where it happens at 18 days or you're someone that happens at 254 days. So the average of that span are 66 days. So this 30-day thing is a bunch of shit. And I wanted to give you these stats because I know it's made me feel like crap. Like I've been doing blah, blah, blah for 30 days and like it's not automatic. It's not autopilot for me. Like, what's my problem? Well, that's not even the average. Now, how can you get that closer to the 18 days? The number one way is by having that social support system and not just an accountability buddy. That's not going to cut it. You've got to pay for it. You've got to really put skin in the game where you put stuff on the line, and your success rate of making that shift will increase by 29%. So these are all facts. So that's why my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership, it keeps people accountable. You have other people in there who know what you're going through. This is not some membership where there's thousands and thousands of people and you get lost in a crowd. You have to be honest with yourself about what is going to keep you accountable to the thing that you really want to shift. This is why I have a fitness coach, because I know if I'm setting myself up to be 100% accountable, what is going to do it? I need to pay someone and not pay someone like $50. I need to pay a top person and someone who I wouldn't want to cancel on. And if you've seen me share my fitness coach on Instagram, you'll know what I'm talking about. I need to have him on the show. He's a little intimidating, not mean. I mean, but like, you don't want to fuck around, right? Like you can't just be like, oh, I don't feel good today. Like he's not buying it. He's seen it all. So ask yourself that question, right? And a great place to start is my Make More, Work Less money course. Number one, I'm giving the first 50 people $200 off. So half of those are already sold. So there's half left. And this is not you buying a workbook. There's 3 modules and they are separated by 5 different videos, and then you are following along with a workbook at the same time. This is a full money course that is designed to transform, notice I didn't use the word change, your money story in 7 days or less. Why can I confidently say that? Because hundreds and hundreds of people have had it work for them. Now, to continue to have that sink in and cement in, you need to continue following the practices that I teach in here. So I want to make sure you guys know you have somewhere to go after this that is going to help you really advance and get those shifts going in your life so you can start making some shit happen. Shift to make shit happen. Okay, people? All right, let's get into it. I have to pull up my notes. I'm very impressed with myself with the notes I took here. First stage of change is the pre-contemplation. So you're unaware of the need for change. So it's like someone considering quitting smoking despite the health concerns. It's like they've maybe they've thought about it, but not where it's like, I really need to stop this, right? It's not that deep. So this is why that Make More, Work Less money course is so profound for people, because you can't see what you don't see. You don't know what the hell is blocking you with money. You might not know what the hell is blocking you from finding the relationship, or why you can't lose like the excess weight in your body, or why you can't get out of procrastination. So you don't have to necessarily know. You just need to be willing and open to discover it. And that is why that course is so profound, because I guide you to the root of it so that we can dig it up, examine it, and then we can shift it, because you can't change what you don't know. You certainly can't make a shift of something you're unaware of. So that's a critical part of this. So I've tied each of these steps to key things that I know you guys really can relate to. So this first stage, the pre-contemplation, let's tie that to beating procrastination, right? So you might be in the scenario of unaware of the negative impact of procrastination. An example would be not recognizing how procrastination affects your productivity and goals. Like you might not be aware of like how much this is really costing you in your life. So stage 2 is contemplation. So let's go with this and keep using this procrastination as an example, because I know you guys learn really well by examples. So this is recognizing the need for change, but not committed. And I know a lot of you are stuck here. And I've been here many times too. You know you need to change something, but you've not taken any action to do it. And if you've not taken any action to do it, thinking and knowing and wishing and hoping and trying to figure it out, you're in contemplation. This is where people get stuck. I call it purgatory. It's such a waste of energy when you know you need to do something, yet you do nothing about it. So an example with like the smoking, acknowledging the health risks of smoking, but undecided about quitting. It's like, it just occupies so much space in your mind and it doesn't do anything. When it comes to procrastination, that would be like acknowledging the need to overcome procrastination, but unsure about taking the action to do it. And you understand the importance of timely tasks, but hesitating to change habits, right? So you're in that stage. We need to acknowledge where we're at, not to shame yourself. So just know the contemplation stage is what I often refer to as purgatory. And that's only stage 2 of making a change. Stage 3 is preparation. So preparation is getting ready for the change. A lot of you get stuck here, especially when it comes to business stuff and money stuff. So an example with the smoking would be like buying nicotine patches and setting a quick quitting date. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with any of these stages. It's that you've got to see where you're getting stuck. So with the procrastination example, getting ready, to tackle procrastination, creating a detailed schedule and setting deadlines for tasks. That sounds great, right? That's an important stage. It's not like these aren't valuable. It's a matter of, are you getting stuck in this spot? Are you getting ready to getting ready? These are people who are taking course after course, program after program, certification after certification. I need to do this first. I need to do this. I need to do this before I can do this. Prepping to prep, always the student, never the action taker. It's a safe space to hide because it makes you feel like you're doing something, which you are, but you're never actually really doing it. So it's a really tricky stage. And I see a lot of people get stuck in that area. It's like when I would always like pin a bunch of healthy recipes, even though I don't cook. And it's like, you could see that as preparation, or buying like gym equipment, or signing up for a new gym, or buying workout clothes. Hey, that's nice, but not if you're not going to use it. Okay. Next stage is action, right? The stage that we know is essential for making these shifts in your life. So that's implementing specific steps towards change. So that would be quitting smoking and adopting a healthier lifestyle. So when it comes to procrastination, that'd be actively implementing strategies to overcome procrastination. So breaking tasks into smaller steps, using productivity tools, and like actually adhering and sticking to these deadlines. And that's the stage where I'm sure most people fall off, but I want you to just know, where do you tend to get stuck in? And where do you tend to fall off? Because then you can start seeing where you need the most support and help, because that's your sticking point. And we all have a sticking point, and it looks different for everybody. Now let's go to maintenance. Now, technically, maintenance is like the 5th and final stage of change, but there has been other people that added a 6th step to it. And I agree with the 6th step. So I'm including that in here. So the 5th one is maintenance, right? Like maintenance is being able to sustain that achieved change, continuing a smoke-free lifestyle, incorporating healthy habits. That also can look like sustaining productive habits and preventing procrastination, like consistently applying time management techniques and maintaining a proactive mindset, knowing that you're a procrastinator. And the maintenance, you have to get used to doing your maintenance practices, right? Like I have a maintenance practice with my skincare. I have a maintenance practice with my physical fitness. I have a maintenance practice with my business, with my trauma healing. And what are we doing to get our regular oil changes and cleaning our car and filling it with gas or charging the car? What are you doing to nurture and maintain these significant things that you've shifted? Because what we don't maintain will absolutely end up reverting back to your hard wiring. And if you've done something for many years or your entire life, you know where that is going to revert back to. You've already done it. It's going to revert back to you eating all the sugar. It's going to revert back to you procrastinating. It's going to revert back to you hiding. It's going to revert back to you being filled with self-doubt thoughts, being stuck in indecision. And we don't want that. So the sixth stage of change is relapse. And I'm sure there's lots of people listening where we can debate. We have a lot of therapists and psychologists and physicians that listen to the show. It doesn't always happen, but there's a saying in the 12-step world that relapse is part of recovery. I really believe that relapse is part of change when you're looking to change very significant things in your life that are hardwired, because to expect that you're never going to revert back to some very ingrained habit or hardwired behavior or thought process, that's a setup, man. That's a setup to feel like crap. You're going to revert back, right? It's going to happen, but that doesn't mean we have to stay there. So it's reverting back to old behaviors, resuming smoking after a period, right, of abstinence, right? Let's, in terms of when it comes to procrastination, that could be like you started taking your foot off the gas of maintenance because you felt like I've got it now, right? I've been doing this a while. I've got it. You get kind of lazy, or maybe something happens in your life that distracts you. Maybe you got into a new relationship. Maybe you had a baby. Maybe you've had a lot of success in your business. Maybe there was major drama going on. Maybe you got sick. And so you've taken your foot off the gas of your maintenance practices that are allowing you to maintain that change. And it's a very slippery slope back to relapse. And pretty soon you're putting a little thing off here, a little thing off there. You might not even recognize it. It's so subconscious. This is that like subconscious self-sabotage of doing these little things if you do not have that support system, which is truly why I believe it is essential, if you really want to make shifts that you've identified. And it's okay if you don't know what it is you need to change. Like I said, a resource for you to start of identifying what those money blocks are, what those self-sabotaging behaviors are that you're not 100% sure of how you're getting in your own way. You are, is the Make More Work Less money course. So go to projectmewithtiffany.com/make more work less. $200 off. First 50 people. We have 25 left, so it's 50% gone. Go grab it. It's also in the description and in the show notes. It'll change your life. So we have to know what is coming. When we know what is likely coming, and this shit has been studied for decades by many prominent teaching institutions. So we already know, right? You already know now what these 6 stages are in changing. This is everybody. Okay. You're not an exception to the rule. So we know what's coming. So let's make sure we set things in place. So we get ourselves to take action. We get ourselves to stay in maintenance mode. And what can we have in place to where we have someone or people around us to help us identify when we're in a relapse, when we're slipping? I'd rather you identify it when you're slipping than when you're in a full relapse of something, because then we can course correct easier. But everything's correctable. Okay. It's just a matter of how much damage has occurred in the meantime. So 1, ask yourself the question, what's my sticking point? If you don't think, by the way, one of your sticking points isn't that pre-contemplation where you aren't really even sure what the hell it is you need to change, but you have like an inkling. Everyone has this in some area of their life going on at all times. Everybody. I this something Here's a rich people secret for you. Highly successful people, and I'm not including, sociopaths or narcissists who like do shady stuff to make money, but genuine successful people, we are well aware that we're not fully aware of all the things, even the most awake and self-aware of us. This is why I have a subconscious mindset coach, why I have a therapist, why I have a life coach. I'm a top business strategist and I have a business coach. Like, there's a reason I pay these people a lot of money and they're regular line items on my business, because if I can't see what I can't see, this is why it's so important when you are getting to a certain level in your business and you bring on team members, whether they're contract workers or they're full-time employees, you bring on people and you have an environment where it's safe in your personal life or professional life, where people can say, hey, it seems like we're going off the rails over here, right? And I say this to my content team. I'll be like, we're kind of starting to phone in some stuff. I'm sensing we're going off the rails. I don't know what's going on over here, but we need to kind of veer back. I'm always scanning for that, because to think that it's not going to start veering off track, because every single human being wants the path of least resistance, wants the easy way, has stuff come up in their life. And I need that reflected back to me in a loving way and sometimes in a firm way. And this is what I do for my clients too. And hopefully I do this for you here on the show. So which stage do you seem to have a sticking point at? What can you do to set yourself up so you're not preparing to prepare, that you get your ass into action? Because that's go time. That's scary time. This is when most of my clients end up getting sick, end up flipping out. That's when they need the most support, is not when we're prepping and we're designing offers and naming them and colors and wording and messaging and all that stuff and doing the profitable content plan. That they're all good with that. It's when they're actually putting it out into the world that people freeze. So if you don't have someone in place that is right there by your side, where you're going to be embarrassed to not show up and follow through because you respect that person, you've paid that person money, and you also have someone to support you through it emotionally, it's usually not going to go well. So those two questions: where's my sticking point? And what do I need to invest in? Who do I need to invest in? What do I need to do to set myself up to have that support to break through that sticking point? What can you do thinking ahead to maintain what you've achieved? Let's say you've gotten into a flow of posting, of sharing your offers, of really growing your business, of doing X, Y, and Z. You're in a flow of something in some area of your life. Don't be delusional and think that self-will is enough to keep you in that flow. It'll keep you in it for a little bit of time because it feels good. You feel productive. You feel like an adult. You have your shit together. You're getting some payoffs. But as soon as you get wackadood, and we all get wackadood in life, you're gonna fall off. You're gonna get tested. It's just how it is. So what can you do to set things up in your business and your life to make sure you maintain maintenance and help prevent relapse, or at least the relapse from being so strong? And give yourself a damn break. These are shifts. We want everything fast. We want everything now. We want this, that, and the other. And I'm not saying it can't happen fast, right? Like I said, like your relationship with money and unpacking those money wounds, without a doubt, you can transform those in 7 days or less. Facts, right? Look at the stat I gave you earlier, 18 to 254 days. You can be towards that 18 marker without a doubt. Of course you can, but not without skipping setting yourself up properly. The people who are in that lower range, if you want what you say you want a lifestyle change, you want to be in charge of your schedule, you never want to have to ask for time off again, you never want to have to like shim sham sharam your bank account in order to be able to go on a trip with your family. You truly want to feel completely free to do what you want, when you want, from where you want, and make money doing something that you genuinely love and that lights you up. That's all here for you. And if you, the faster you want it, the catch is you have to be willing to invest money, energy, and time and your heart in setting yourself up for the action and maintenance and relapse stage. The first 3 stages, pre-contemplation is very important too, but that like contemplation stage and preparation stage, you need help breaking out of that. You've been wasting years of your life in that. What is it we're going to do? And not in a mean, scolding way to yourself. Let's say it nicely. You only need to, even if you did a turn of the dial, right? Just like I talked about those puzzle pieces, you even did a subtle mixing of those puzzle pieces, you're going to notice something you didn't notice before. This does not need to be a 180. And that's where there's so much pressure. I need to now not eat sugar and only eat kale and only do this. And then on top of it, I need to walk 10,000 steps a day. And then on top of that, I need to be batching my content for 30 days at a time. And I need to be doing this. You have just set yourself up to fail. Small shifts make the biggest changes. You know why? Because they're actually sustainable. And like I said, your nervous system doesn't go into a full shock, fight, flight, or freeze because you're not like giving it too much. Something I noticed with myself that I was doing when it comes to like having sugar at night, I was recreating my childhood of being trapped and controlled in what I ate. So I was telling myself, you can't have this and you shouldn't have this, and it's no sugar this, and it's this, this, this. So then what happened? My inner teenager wanted to rebel against mommy, wanted to rebel and say, fuck you. I had a hard day. I'm going to eat whatever the hell I want. Don't you control me. But did I come up with that on my own? Did I realize I was doing that on my own? No, I did not. That took a coach and a therapist and me doing quiet inner work reflection, and writing about some things in order for me to reach that point. And it's been a major breakthrough for me. So instead, I'm doing it gentle. Sweetie, you can have the sugar if you want. Like, that's okay. How about though why don't we have like, if you're hungry, why don't we have like this Greek yogurt first? And if you still want the ice cream, you can order the $15 DoorDash ice cream if you want. But how about we start here and then have a glass of water with it? And if you still want it, that's fine. And I really mean it. And it's working because I'm not trying to rebel against it. I'm not trying to say like, don't you control me, don't trap me. And like, I know you guys can put in the comments on YouTube. None of you guys want to be controlled or trapped, which is why you want to make money on your own terms and not have to depend on any person, place, thing, job, or institution for money again. And I will tell you, there is no more empowering and freeing feeling than that, which is why I'm doing the giveaway. Okay. This is content creation made easy, my system. I don't care if you are 10 years into your business. If you want to make money online with your business, whether it's new, whether it's existing, and use the power of content marketing, you want this now. And it's crazy to not get it while it's free. So you know what you got to do. Subscribe to the show, follow the show, leave a 5-star written review on Apple. That's really, really emphasized. Okay. If you have an Apple account, please do that. Put your name or Instagram, TikTok handle inside the review so we can cross-reference. Take a screenshot, email it to us at support@projectmewithtiffany.com. If you are If you don't have Apple, that's okay. For this particular giveaway that I'm doing, you can follow the show on Spotify, tap the 5 stars, and share the show on some social media platform. Have fun with it, share a video, share a post, take a screenshot of that and email that to us. Whether it's YouTube, wherever you listen, that's how you are able to get this. And once you email us, my team will reply to you with instant access to my entire system. And now you're on your way. And remember, the first 50 people, so we have 50% of those are gone, for my Make More, Work Less money course. That is available for you too in the show notes. So swipe up. I love you guys so much. We can do this. We just need to make small, sustainable shifts, and then those compound over time. And those small shifts end up as highly significant results. But what doesn't work is when you are forcing the all or nothing. I do all this, and then it's so much, and I take my foot off the gas. That insanity stops today. And it requires you to be actually more gentle, graceful, and loving with yourself. And it also requires you to do less and not more, which is kind of a mind fuck in of itself. So please give yourself some love. We've picked up all sorts of programming and nonsense from a million different places in life. Okay. Like, you've got this. I'm on your side. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you.